Coming up on Tech News today, Yahoo starts a Facebook Connect thing. They don't call it Yahoo Connect, though. They call it Y Connect. And we wonder why. Also, Verizon might be starting a price war over their unlimited data plan. And Twitter can make you rich. We've got the secrets for predicting the stock market now on TNT.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Monday, October 18th, 2010. Tech News Today is brought to you by Ford and voice-activated Sync, featuring hands-free calling, turn-by-turn directions, 911 assist, and more. Available exclusively on Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury vehicles. For more details, visit syncmyridepodcast.com. And by MailRoute.info. MailRoute is a secure hosted service that provides enterprise-grade virus and spam filtering to companies of any size. Try it now at MailRoute.info. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Darren Kitchen.
And I'm Jason Howell.
This is the show where we kick around the tech news of the day and see if it can take it. Kick it. Keep kicking.
Stress test that tech news.
Stay down, Ray Ozzie. Stay down. Actually, Ray Ozzie is stepping down.
Wait a minute. What's he doing here?
He might
Hello,
stay
Ray
down.
Ozzie.
He probably will. Yeah.
What did Ray Ozzie do for Microsoft?
Well, exactly my thoughts.
What didn't he do?
He ever do for Microsoft? He was the head of Internet Services, chief software architect, often thought of as the cloud man.
Okay.
Funnily, not because of cloud services, but he always made it rain in Redmond. No, he's the guy. He's one of the guys that filled in the gap when Bill Gates stepped back. So today they announced, in this kind of weird email that All Things D reprinted from Steve Ballmer, how great the accomplishments in cloud things are going at Microsoft. And by the way, Ray Ozzie's leaving now because things are so great. He has a chance.
We don't need him anymore.
Ray Ozzie's done everything right, and
Mission
now he
accomplished.
can just go hang out on a beach somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, good work, Ray. Thanks
whatever
for
it is
everything
you
you've
did.
done.
Yeah, it's obviously speculation is going to run wild now. Is this because of some internal shakeup? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about cleaning upstairs at Microsoft. There's been a lot of talk about maybe Ballmer should go. Is this sort of some defensive measure from Ballmer? We don't know. There's all kinds of corporate politics going on. So I'm sure you'll see on the blogs all of those theories put forward. But the upshot of this is Microsoft loses one of their top brains with a lot of experience. He's not leaving right away. He's going to stay on through a transition period and then wander off into the sunset or something, I guess.
With his head in his clouds.
Yeah, head in the clouds. Exactly.
Well, so it sounds like, I mean, he's leaving on his own accord. I mean, it doesn't sound
yeah,
like
it doesn't sound like he's getting fired.
anything
There was
scandalous
no
here.
there's no indication that it was because the cookies over in Redmond aren't as good. You know.
Right. Or that he just can't face Google in the cloud and he's backing down.
Yeah.
No indication of either one of those.
Neither have been confirmed.
Also, all over the news this morning, a Facebook privacy breach uncovered by the Wall Street Journal.
Snore.
I'm shocked, I tell you.
And appalled.
This is pretty similar to the last Facebook breach in that some kind of referrer is passing along the unique Facebook ID number. The Facebook ID number can be associated with your account, and then whatever your account has public can then be discovered by that Facebook ID number.
But now, isn't the refer in this case a browser-based refer because it's the URL of the last place that you were on Facebook, and on Facebook, your Facebook ID is in the URL.
Yeah, and the APIs of some apps were passing along this information.
Where you were previously.
Yeah, exactly. So, Facebook has come out and said, look, everybody's exaggerating the implications of sharing UID. Knowledge of a UID does not enable anyone to access private user information without explicit user consent. Nevertheless, we don't want people passing these things along, so we've suspended apps until they fix it.
Some pretty big apps, too.
Yeah,
Like
Farmville.
Farmville, who, what is it, like 20 million people?
59.
Use, 59
That's like the
million
quintessential
people use
Facebook app right
Farmville.
there.
Yeah.
You figure you don't have to be a Farmville player for this to affect you. If you just know someone, if you
I know a lot of people who play
plays
Farmville.
Farmville, you could be affected by this security breach.
I also feel like, though, that this is the sort of thing where, okay, so 59 million people use Farmville. How many people understand how refers work or user
Or
IDs
what a
on
user
Facebook?
ID is.
It's
Yeah,
a great,
exactly.
it's a great big sample of people to be like, privacy.
Right.
This is so bad without
this
really
is-
understanding what's going on here.
This is more than just the referrers, though. I mean, the referrers has been something from before that Wall Street Journal pointed out. This is talking about applications actually being able to harvest who your friends are.
Right, because
Right,
if
but-
your friends are made public,
Yes.
then that UID can be associated to all the other UIDs of your friends, correct?
But this is also not some nefarious scheme by Farmville. I mean, Facebook said, hey, in most cases, nobody's doing this on purpose. This is just some sort of loophole.
I don't
that
know. A
we've gotta
couple
figure out.
applications got taken off the App Store, or whatever they're calling it.
They got taken
And,
down, yeah.
Taken down.
Well,
and,
that's because they were doing this, and they're like, look, until you fix it, we're taking you down.
Yeah.
I don't think these companies, although there's lots of scuttlebutt about what Zynga gets up to behind the scenes and how they sort of have a culture of let's try to get away with as much as possible. So maybe they're doing this on purpose. But it sounds like the kind of thing that a company could accidentally be harvesting and passing along just because they wrote an algorithm in a certain way and they wouldn't know they were actually getting it. One exception to that, Wall Street Journal points out that Rapleaf was a company that was receiving a lot of this information and was collating it with user IDs that they had found from setting cookies.
What, to market a certain kind of food to you if you've mentioned that you like, you know what I
kind of
mean?
the
It's
thing.
like,
It's
that's
like-
what, I mean,
I don't like the idea of
it's not like money's being
Yeah, but
drained from our bank accounts.
that wasn't an
because of
opt-in
this.
thing, though. If somebody, if this company is marketing sardines to you because of one of your friends on Facebook mentioned something and they got that data and figured it out to you, that's not something you opted into.
But I might want to know if sardines were on sale.
Well,
a
in
brand that I
this
like.
case, who cares if they violated your trust?
The
They're
thing is,
providing
in
you
this
sardine
case,
links.
it's all information that you've made public. So the question is, you made it public, but you didn't authorize it to be passed along by the application. So it's a fine line, and I am of the opinion that what people want in privacy situations is courteousness. They actually don't care too much about the actual information that's being shared here, like you're saying, Sarah. They just want to be asked. They just
Right.
want to know where it's going.
I
They
think
want to
that-
have some sense of control over it.
This is
Like
a
those
great
spear
example
phishing
of
links.
how confusing privacy has just gotten for everybody. I mean, at this point, there are a lot of people using Facebook who have no idea what kind of privacy settings they're sharing with anybody. It's just complicated.
Yeah, it's impossible to offer everyone the conveniences and the cool things that all of this stuff can do when it's working together without having to kind of give away a little bit of that privacy
Right.
or being okay with that. So you can't please everybody or anybody in this case.
Can't please everybody some of the time.
Yeah.
But like, no, you mentioned spearfishing just now.
Yeah.
There are some much worse problems with Facebook than this little
Well,
UID.
you had mentioned, as long as you're courteous, and now I'm thinking, okay, I'll just
Yeah.
be more courteous in my spearfishing links.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah, I just think that's how we should do it.
Well, that's a much bigger deal than some UID getting passed along.
yeah,
Is the kind of things that take advantage of social engineering to get you to do things, right?
exactly. Yeah, fun stuff.
You're going to be doing some of that stuff, right? Or showing how it works, not doing it.
Yeah, actually, well, I'll tell you when we get to the news fuse because there's some stuff that's very relevant with what we're doing at Hack 5 recently. But anyway, you want to talk about courteousness? Isn't News Corp being really courteous to the internet?
Yes, News Corp over the weekend shut off Hulu access to Cablevision customers, well, for Fox shows anyway, and to Fox.com, and then turned it back on.
So let me get this straight. Cablevision subscribers could still go to Hulu. They just couldn't watch Fox shows.
Right, exactly. If they tried to pull up a Fox show, it said, we noticed that you are attempting to access Fox content on Hulu. Unfortunately, this content is currently unavailable to Cablevision customers. We look forward to bringing it back. This all goes back to a fight Fox is having over the carriage rights for 3 of Fox's local channels.
Oh, old media and all of your crazy license fees.
Now, one of the reasons they brought it back is they realized that not every Cablevision internet customer is a Cablevision television customer. And they couldn't
Yeah,
figure
exactly.
out how to easily only block the Cablevision television customers. But the upshot of all this is, you want an example of a possible net neutrality violation? Here you go. This is a company saying we're going to deliver video to everybody but you because we don't like you. Now, in this case, it's not a profit motive. It's a leverage motive. And yeah, they fixed it right away. They backed off and said, "Oh, wait a minute, this isn't good. This isn't worth it."
Is that really a net neutrality violation? I mean, sure, it's in the news and it's big because it's Hulu. But say, for instance, you ran a service where you just didn't want to accept any IPs from China because I don't know, maybe you've had some problems with DDoS or botnets or whatever have you. Would that be a net neutrality violation? Because you're just like, forget the entire, continent of China. I did that on purpose.
Well, that's the problem with net neutrality, right? Is that there are times when you don't want the net to be neutral because it's a good thing, because it stops spam or it allows for quality of service or this or that.
Well, this doesn't sound like a quality of service thing at all. It sounds like a bickering license issue.
But what a lot of people object to with net neutrality is the idea that I could say, well, I'm only going to deliver my Fox videos to internet service providers that pay me extra. Or I'm only going to deliver those Fox videos if Fox pays me extra on the other end.
We've seen something like that in the past, like with the Olympics, where you could only watch it if you were a subscriber to certain cable companies. And doesn't ESPN have something like that as well?
That's an authorization issue versus this. This is them saying like the entire Cablevision internet.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why they backed off so fast, is they realized, well, wait a minute. We're not doing what the Olympics did and saying, hey, have you paid for this? Because if you've paid for that, then we'll let you watch this. Yeah. They're actually blocking service to an entire class of customers.
Right. That potentially impacts other smaller internet service providers that uses Cablevision as their backbone. So, yeah. Not fair.
Anyway, it'll be interesting to watch. We should thank our sponsor, Ford, makers of Ford Activated Sync. They are helping to bring tech news today to you today. Problem a lot of folks have when you're driving these days is there's a lot of things to do while you're driving. You make phone calls, or you want to make phone calls. You want to answer texts. There's that important text. You don't like the music that's playing and you want to skip. And it's all dangerous. It's all distracting in the cockpit. So Ford Sync allows you true hands-free calling. You just talk. You just tell it what you want. It's available exclusively on Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury vehicles. I've been out riding with Leo in this. He's able to switch from podcasts to an audio book to some music. He's able to send texts, have text read to him. If we had gotten into trouble, which we didn't, you got 911 assist. If you're ever in an accident, your airbag deploys. Sync automatically calls 911 for you. If you'd like to learn more about Sync, just go to syncmyridepodcast.com. Sync is standard in some Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury models and optional in others. When you get in a car with Sync, your mobile phone, most Bluetooth-enabled phones connect automatically, and you can plug in most standard non-Bluetooth media players like iPods or Zunes. So check it out, syncmyridepodcast.com. Verizon, I don't know, is this a price war going on?
I sure hope so. We could definitely use some competition, some new pricing in the mobile data area.
Chris Ziegler at Engadget says they've been tipped off that Verizon is expected to announce new plans for data on October 28th. One of them solves a mystery I've been considering, which is the iPad MiFi data was cheaper
than what you're paying monthly for your MiFi.
Yeah, well, apparently, according to this, MiFi is going to have plans for all MiFis that are the same price as the MiFi that gets bundled with the iPad.
Okay. So there's no incentive to get the iPad MiFi.
Yeah, so that mystery is solved. They've also got new plans for cell phone, smartphone owners. You can get $15 for 150 megabytes a month with a 10-cent per megabyte overage, or $30 for unlimited access. Now, there's where the price war comes in.
There you go.
AT&T got rid of their unlimited access.
In fact, even on feature phones, they've gone ahead and killed the $9.99 for 25 megabytes feature entirely. Because what good was that? And replaced it with a $15 for 150 meg. So, yeah, your price per megabyte's getting a little bit better there.
So a rooted Android phone that can broadcast as a hotspot gives you $30 a month unlimited data over 3G. They haven't announced any. They're not going to announce any 4G plans yet.
That seems like a really good deal.
That seems like a great deal.
Yeah.
That's a screaming deal. Yeah. Now, this is what competition looks like. When you have somebody like AT&T come out saying, "Hey, we're gonna start limiting our data." Verizon goes, "Okay, that gives us permission to limit it, but let's do it a little better so that we actually can have an advantage on this. So they haven't got rid of their unlimited plan. Are you doing a Wi-Fi hotspot there?
Yeah, I just created a Wi-Fi hotspot. So if anybody needs internet access, it's just called T-Mobile.
There you go.
Thanks, Darren.
You're welcome.
I don't trust your internet access
Why would you
hotspot when it's
not?
called T-Mobile.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you just call it
Free public
Free public
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. There we go.
Which, by the way, I want to acknowledge all the people who wrote in and pointed out that Security Now had covered that free public Wi-Fi explanation like 2 years ago.
It's been beaten to death.
Oh.
But
Well, I hadn't watched that episode, apparently.
there were a lot of folks in the audience who hadn't either, so we were happy to send it along. Sprint is turning on 4G in New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. They've announced dates. New York will be the first. November 1st, they get their 4G service, their WiMAX service. Los Angeles follows a month later on December 1st. San Francisco launches in late December. And then there's a bunch of other activations that are supposed to happen by the end of the year that don't have dates yet. They're just still end of 2010. Well, San Francisco's late December, and they've got a date-ish. I guess the rest of these are New Year's Eve. Miami, Tampa, Denver, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Washington, D.C.
San Francisco has a date with 4G. Sign me up.
It's going to be
for
awesome.
New Year's Eve.
I want to be
New
a
Year's
third wheel
Eve.
there.
San Francisco is going to kiss WiMAX on New Year's Eve.
Well, what about LTE?
Sometimes it's good to be in the Bay Area because San Francisco, I mean, if you're
Wallflower.
going by population, it's not even close to being the third largest city in the U.S., but it's one of those cities that gets these sorts of things because they know there'll be a lot of people.
It's actually pretty funny when you look at the cities that do have WiMAX right now.
Modesto.
Merced, California. Central Washington, D.C. Central Washington, D.C. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Abilene, Texas. Salt Lake City, Utah.
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Corpus Christi.
You know,
Oh, yay, Richmond, Virginia.
little respect to Yakima, Washington.
Yeah.
Reason to go back there now.
Mad respect, Yakima.
Mad
Mad
respect.
respect.
Honolulu and Maui, actually. It's pretty nice. I've used the WiMAX in Honolulu, or actually in Maui, I should say. It's pretty good.
So, Evo folks, good times.
Yep, good time to get an Evo if you're in one of these locations. Interesting story about HyperMac. They're going to have to halt selling their battery because they didn't license MagSafe. Now, here's what HyperMac does. They're an external battery, a big old battery that can power both an iPhone or an iPad and a laptop because they have connectors for both. Apple came in and said, you're violating our patent.
Yeah.
We have a patent on that MagSafe
That's a proprietary.
thing, and you didn't ask us if you could use it.
And there's no like workaround. It's not like they can use like an alternate plug that doesn't have a magnet in it. Can they?
No, there's no other
Yeah.
way to hook up to this unless you use this MagSafe thing. So Apple's got them over a barrel.
And now we see why, you know, Apple does this as opposed to everybody else with the little regular DC barrel connector.
Well, the best part about this, though, is that HyperMac's going, listen, yeah, we can't fight Apple. However, you can still buy one until November 2nd.
They all must go.
Yeah. It's
Going out of business sale.
It's a going out of business sale. So, I mean, they're giving us plenty of time. If you haven't gotten a HyperMac battery yet, you still can.
Well, now they could make HyperMac batteries that just had a DC plug-in, right?
Yeah. How would they
So do you
power
you would
an
just
iPad?
you would just use your.
Can you use this existing
Well,
cable?
the
Because I
thing
thought
is-
that this was hardwired into the little brick.
Apparently, they're not in patent violation for the iPad and iPhone because what they're doing is purchasing the cables,
Right, and
from
it's just,
Apple.
it's just USB. So
Right.
you know, for them to say that, oh, now it powers the
Well,
iPad.
it'd be the
well,
30-pin connector that
Right.
they'd be violating.
They
But since
didn't
they're-
manufacture
Yeah, they
any
didn't
of that.
manufacture the cable. You
Exactly.
could potentially use like a Droid cable or mini USB to power anything.
Has anyone here used a HyperMac battery?
Nope.
I mean, how quickly
I
does it
have.
charge anything?
I
you know,
have.
I've
used it a
never
long
actually
time
seen
ago.
one in the wild.
It charged me up. It topped me up fine. They're
Yeah.
pretty snazzy little batteries. They've got a lot of punch in them.
They look good. I love the idea of powering multiple things at once. I might be a pre-November 2nd buyer of the HyperMac battery.
Get it while you
myself.
can. While they're hot.
I can think of a lot of situations where I would have liked one. Our trip
Finally,
to Vegas.
yeah, exactly. Finally, Twitter can apparently predict the stock market.
What?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Who do I have to follow for that?
TechnologyReview.com reporting that an analysis of almost 10 million tweets from 2008 shows that Twitter can be used to predict stock market movement 2 to 6 days in advance. Essentially, they did a study of many different ways of looking at the mood state of Twitter posts. One algorithm called the Google Profile of Mood States, or GPOMs, records the level of 6 states: happiness, kindness, alertness, sureness, vitality, and calmness. Calmness turned out to be the one indicator that tracked with the Dow Jones Industrial Average with an accuracy of 87.6%.
Meaning the more people who are calm on Twitter, the better the Dow Jones numbers might be.
I think that's what they found, yeah.
But what's confusing to me is how does one consider a tweet calm? Because what if I say something like, best day ever, got so many of my errands done, just chilling, exclamation point. Does that seem calm, even if I am feeling really calm and cool and collected?
That's a good question. I want to know how the Google profile of mood states works.
And is it mood as it relates to a particular thing or just general mood?
I've heard of these kind of analyses before where they look at sort of the word choice, the syntax.
Like, are they referring to Apple when they're tweeting something out that 6 days later actually is reflected in Apple's?
No, what they're saying is...
Well, they're just looking at the Dow as a
it's
whole.
worldwide, too, not just the United States. And as the calmness level goes up, or I guess gets more calm, the Dow Jones goes up. And as it goes down, everybody gets crazy.
We're getting calmer!
I don't know how that part works.
Well, can I get this in ring form that changes color or
it's
something?
not predicting individual stocks.
Right.
Or more
The
importantly,
internet mood ring?
and more importantly, would this work on LiveJournal?
Oh, wow. No.
No?
It might predict something entirely different, but it wouldn't work.
That wouldn't be good.
Interesting.
All right, let's thank our other sponsor today, MailRoute.info. You may have heard us talking about this on TWiT. MailRoute.info is run by Todd Johnson, friend of Leo. He is the guy who wrote Front Bridge for Microsoft, moved on to try to solve spam. That's not a small task, but he thinks he's got it fairly well cracked. I've signed up for it myself, and I actually have a usable email address that was riddled with spam before. What he does is he takes all of the email coming to you, and put it this way, you have to be operating several email addresses. You have to know what an MX record is if this is going to work for you. But if you do, what it does is it takes all the email, looks through it, applies a filter, and only sends you the email that actually is real, that's not spam. Leo was sent over 3.7 million messages last year. 3.6 million were spam. 96% were blocked, and he got no false positives.
Oh, that's impressive.
They also have 99.999% uptime. There's no long-term contract. It's month to month. For listeners of TWiT, they actually offer a small business and family plan. List price is $33 per year. But if you go to mailroute.info, since you listen to TWiT, you get a discounted price of $29.70. That's just under $2.50 a month. So check them out. Mailroute.info. Time for the news fuse. Nintendo's Wii has joined the Sony PS3 on the train the Xbox has been riding for years regarding Netflix movies. It's the no-disc train. I've tortured that metaphor far enough. You no longer need to pop a disc into the Wii or the PS3 if you want to stream Netflix movies. I'd say there's an app for that, but Apple owns the trademark, so I'll just say there's an application you can install to do that now.
Speaking of Apple announced their earnings for their latest quarter, which is mostly positive. Wow. Unique. Apple never does that. iPad sold more units than Macs. That's an interesting stat, although they still sold fewer than analysts expected. So depending on which article you read, it's either a broken record or not really all that great.
So where's the calmness?
I don't know. My calm is still trying to figure itself out. Yeah. I'm feeling actually pretty calm about this.
All right.
But maybe
Bye.
I hung up with an analyst. So...
Now, Google has oddly said that they would be a good citizen and allow Hulu to block the Chrome browser on Google TV. Not sure if that makes them a good citizen, but some other citizens have figured out that if you go to the advanced settings of Chrome on Google TV, you can change the browser's ID from generic to generic, and then, like magic, no more blocked Hulu.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a civic pride badge for that.
No, probably not.
No, not from Google anyway. A Swedish professor has his laptop stolen recently by one of the most considerate thieves we've ever heard of. The robbers stole the laptop, but left the credit cards and the money, and then a week later sent a USB stick to the professor in the mail, which contained all the data from the laptop in a nice, tidy backup.
Oh, if only all laptop thieves could be that nice.
If only all laptop thieves were Swedes.
That's actually what the professor said. If only all thieves could be this great. And it's like, wouldn't it be greater if he didn't steal your laptop?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if they're like muggers in Toronto, where they're like, give me all your cash. You're like, all I got's a 50. Oh, I can break that. I just want to make sure you have enough to get bus fare home.
I'm not trying to ruin your day, buddy.
Yeah.
Just want some of the money.
We got a whole
I got
change
for that.
Yeah.
Here's a loony.
Well, in other news, cats and dogs are being friendly on Flying Pigs today.
What?
What I mean by that is a second Duke Nukem game has been announced.
No.
This one, Duke 3D, is a project by fan Frederick Fresh Schreiber, created on the Unreal Engine 3. And Gearbox, who are the owners of Duke Nukem, support the project and have granted Schreiber a non-commercial license to release the game, which will never, ever be released. Unless it is.
And then I will
Until
be sad.
it is, yeah.
And then our Vaporware Awards will be so sad. Wolf!
What?
I mean, fudge! I mean, IP version 4 addresses are running out.
Oh, that whole thing.
Yeah, the Number Resource Organization reported that 95% of all IP version 4-based internet addresses have already been assigned. So basically what that means is we all need to move to IP version 6. See, IP version 4 is 32-bit number, so there's about 4 billion addresses, and IP version 6 is 128-bit number, so math, carry the 2. There's enough IP address version 6s for there to be one on every 2 square inches of Earth.
Just switch already, people, so we stop having to hear people.
We'll never run
complain
out
about
of
this.
them.
And also, IP version 6 can be used to traverse IP version 4
We
firewalls.
have to move to IPv8. IPv6 is running out. We're going to hear that in like 10 years.
Check out Hack 5 this week. We're talking about how IP6, you can use it to traverse firewalls and do all sorts of nefarious fun stuff.
Good times.
Yeah.
Now, when you pull the shades to play video games, you may be powering the PC that is playing the video game. The MIT presented early results of research projects funded by Italian oil company Eni, including paper-thin solar cells, which could be used as window covering. I don't know if the window treatments will be that popular with homeowners, but they'd work. The paper cells could also make roof installation easier, and the presentation also included a paper-based material to collect oil spilled in water. You know, like they do in oceans and stuff.
Oh, that never happens.
Never. We don't
Why
need
would they
that.
need something like that? Useless tech. Yahoo's not really afraid of being second
We're number 2.
when it comes to the internet. The Wall Street Journal reports that Yahoo was planning on introducing Y Connect.
What a great name.
That's just the letter Y Connect, not Y Connect.
Where is it?
Although
Well,
I can see
it is
where you
Yahoo.
could get confused. It's a way of connecting to and sharing data between sites you visit with your Yahoo login and profile information. Does this sound familiar to anybody? No? Yeah, pretty
It'll never catch on.
groundbreaking stuff. Expect them to push a movie about their founding soon called The Internet Directory.
How Jerry Yang got screwed. We need a movie about
He was
us.
a real
How come
jerk,
nobody
too.
ever did Yahoo movies because their
All he
founders
wanted
are
was
so
a
nice.
girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. And he got one, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y Connect, really? Y Connect is what you're.
Come on. I mean, you're just. Think
about your
nobody.
attitude
for it,
There's no
yeah.
focus group here. Nobody said.
Call it Yahoo Connect.
You
Although,
know
is there an
what?
exclamation point? Is it one of those Yahoo services where it's like Y exclamation point? Because we could go all
Y
like programmer style and be
Connect.
like, Y Bang Connect.
Y Bang Connect.
Y Bang Connect.
I know, either way, it's not working for me.
Y Bang.
Why Bang Connect?
She Bang Connect. All right, let's finish up with the UN taking away our human right to blot out the sun.
How do we do that?
NASA, as well as many other private industries, have been looking into possible ways to slow climate change through geoengineering, and one of those ways would be to put up a huge solar shade in orbit that would actually prevent the sun from heating the surface of the Earth.
Which would slow down global warming.
Right. There's a lot of controversy
In theory,
though,
anyway.
about the idea of a country putting up a solar shade that then blocks the sun of another country, because it's not going to
Right.
hit just one country, right? It's got to block a big portion of the Earth.
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way. Right on border lines.
Yeah, it'll be fun when license fees get
Shadier
involved
over
with this,
here.
right?
We have a nice
Yeah.
Colorado-shaped solar shade that
Or
just
like,
blocks the sun. in
You
Colorado.
didn't pay your shade tax, and all of a sudden, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
It is
Anyway.
some of the issues, potential issues that were brought up though are good ones. I mean, it's like if you're going to slow down global warming, are you just going to keep people from having to adapt to new, cleaner coal, for example? It's like, well, if global warming slows down, then we don't really have to stop
Are you trying
using
to
all
say-
this oil.
Are you trying to say that humans would like resist change?
Never.
That's
I know.
unfathomable.
Exactly.
The United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity made the decision, or is considering the decision. The convention may consider banning or limiting research into space sunshades don't take away my right.
Space
to shade.
shades.
It's a weird thing, though. It's like, well, don't tell me I can't put a shade in space, but I think it is the UN's province to say you can't shade South America, U.S. Like, that's not fair.
Ooh, that's an interesting new weapon. You know,
We'll
comply with us, or we will shade your country.
Also,
shade
once the
wars.
shade goes up and it gets really cold, how easy is it to just take that shade down?
Well, there's probably like
a lot of
blinds.
work.
You twist the one on the left. You twist it.
They're
and then it kinda,
Roman
like,
blinds.
Opens.
I'm freezing. Take that shade down immediately. This is the worst summer ever.
All right, let's move on to the calendar.
San Francisco.
We've got sad news. Benoit Mandelbrot has died.
Aw, yes.
know.
He passed away over the weekend from cancer. He, if you didn't know, is one of the founders of fractals. He discovered the Mandelbrot set and then named it
Fractal
after himself.
geometry. Big dude.
We're playing a little Jonathan Colton Mandelbrot set in the background.
I'm gonna
in
go
his
home
honor.
and I'm gonna run dazzle.exe in DOSBox today.
You should.
Yeah.
I think
in
he
his
should.
honor. Yeah.
In his honor. He would have liked that.
I've got Fractal Magic still on a 3.5-inch disc that I will try to find a computer that has
Benoit, you were
floppy disk.
loved and you will be missed. We've got a birthday. Nintendo's NES turns 25 today. However, Google hasn't honored them at all. No love for the NES.
No.
On the Google homepage. It seems
Really?
like a perfect time.
Yeah.
25. That's a big anniversary.
Well, we're honoring
birthday.
you, Nintendo.
We sure are. TNT doesn't forget. TNT will never forget. NES. Happy 25th. Microsoft Office event is tomorrow, Tuesday, the 19th. What are you doing?
I was trying to make an N.
Fractal geometry?
I was trying to make an N with my finger, like little. We'll never forget.
Ooh, yeah, like
That'd
a
be something
YMCA.
like- yeah, like, yeah.
NES.
Something like that.
A lowercase N.
Yeah.
There you go. That's easier.
So the Office event tomorrow, that's a Microsoft Office event. What are we expecting? Office for Mac?
We can now make
Update?
spreadsheets on our computers.
On our
Whee!
Macs.
Oh yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that now. Thank goodness. I'm not looking at a spreadsheet right now on my Mac. Apple also making an announcement. It's a big week for announcements. They've got an announcement starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Wednesday. That's October 20th. And we will be covering it live on TWiT.
We're expecting OS 10 and Macs, possibly a MacBook Air.
Yes. Yes. OS 10.
Yeah,
Just OS 10
a
in
new
general.
OS 10, like OS 10 Lion. There's a lion on the postcard. It's going to be a new OS 10.
It's gonna be a tabby.
The BlackBerry Style has an official launch date. It's Halloween. That's October 31st. And it's going to launch for $99.
Scary
Spooky.
price.
Ah!
Boo. I mean, boo. Sorry.
Depends.
Depends
Do you
where
like
you
it?
stand on the BlackBerry
Then your
thing.
boo
yeah.
can go one or
So
one
cheap
of
you
two
could hand
ways.
them out to kids.
Connect launch titles have been revealed, and Microsoft apparently is really banking on us liking fitness and dancing themed games.
Makes sense with the
wouldn't we?
Kinect, you know, it's full motion.
Exactly. Well, plus,
Your
you know, with
gigantic
all the
9-foot living
Dancing
room.
with the Stars and the
Uh-huh.
Dance Crews and all of those shows. I mean, they're very popular. One of the fitness games, I love the description of Zumba Fitness. It's described as a one-of-a-kind dance fitness workout set to sexy, high-energy Latin and international music.
Ooh. Little samba, little merengue.
So you can have your Latin or your international music.
And they'll
Yeah,
be
on one
following
side
that.
Latin, on the other side
International.
international. So
the-
yeah, that's a good
Just
thing.
everything else.
I'm assuming they'll follow that with one that has country and Western.
One could hope.
I'm holding out for international swing.
Yeah, most of these titles will launch November 4th. There's a few that launch later in November, though. But we'll have the link in the show notes in our wiki at twit.tv/TNT.
You
if you
can
want to take a look.
dance off that tryptophan.
If you want to.
Yeah. Hell
Leave your cares behind.
Yeah.
On to the voicemails. 260-TNT show is the number to call, or you can record a video and upload it to YouTube and send us the link, like our caller, I guess you could call him that, did today. Hey, those are some
Hey, Tom, this is Steve
nice
Massey down
curvy
south
towers.
of Newark, Arkansas. Heard on the podcast last week how much you like nuclear power plants because of their nice curvy towers. Ran across these and thought you'd like to see them. Of course, you look over there on the left and you see that big old smokestack. Yeah, it's a coal-fired plant. Sorry, man. Love the show, though. Thanks.
blah blot on those curvy towers, that big smokestack.
You're really into those?
No, I was just making a joke about how nuclear power plants just look so nice. They look so futuristic.
Right, yeah.
So anyway,
Really
there you
pretty.
go. You never can tell. On to the emails. TNT@twit.tv. Kevin Moon wrote in and said, with all this talk of Google TV, Roku, Boxy, and Apple TV, I feel like everyone has forgotten about the TiVo. Now that it has great network throughput, Netflix, Amazon VOD, Pandora, strong dual over-the-air tuners, and many different ways to connect to your home PC or Mac, this is the DVR box that everyone seems to want. I still have an Apple TV, but the living room is owned by TiVo. You cannot beat it for the functionality and services available. It was a little buggy out of the gate, but now that it has had some updates, it works great. The search feature works across all the services available, so you don't buy something that is available for free on Netflix or over the air. You know, when he needs to work for TiVo, because when he describes it like that, it's sort of the only thing it doesn't have is Hulu.
You know, Kevin's not alone. TiVo is it's kind of amazing how well TiVo has served its customers over the years, because true TiVo lovers love TiVo.
Yeah.
They do not want to switch from TiVo.
I didn't want to. DirecTV kind of had to force me to by giving me free equipment to be like, please move to DirecTV DVR.
Yep, I didn't want to, but I eventually had to because it never came back to DirecTV.
Yeah, it still hasn't.
And actually, I got to say, I'm okay with it. Like, now that I have the
They
DirecTV
have improved it, haven't
HD
they?
DVR, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's very TiVo-esque.
Totally.
Next email from James in London. Hi, Tom and gang. While listening to Friday's episode and the story about the white iPhone, I was reminded of going to see Stephen Fry at the Royal Albert Hall in September, where he proudly displayed his white iPhone on stage. I think his exact words were, "The only one in Europe." Just thought you'd like to know that they are out there in the wild, just very, very rare. Stephen Fry, how'd you get one of those?
Yeah, just because he's like super popular
Just because
on Twitter.
he's an uber geek,
Just because he like
Twitter darling, Brit.
Just because he's really nice and friendly.
Seems cool, smart.
Yeah.
Possibly
All the
he
rest
ended
of
up
it.
in a bar where somebody else was.
I'm sure it's stolen. He stole that thing.
Totally. That'd be like him.
Thief. Liar.
Got another email here from Anuj from India. He says, love the show. Hey, TNT. Got a pleasant surprise from Google today. I logged into my Google profile and I saw ribbons falling down. Wonder why? I checked into my profile and found out it's actually my birthday. Here's a screenshot. Well, happy birthday. And way to go,
Actually.
Google.
Happy birthday. Look at them ribbons.
Not
Those
full
are
motion, but there they are.
And
That-
there's
they're
a
actually-
little birthday message up
I
here.
think I remember that around the holidays on Yahoo back in like the late 90s with the snowflakes falling.
I don't want to be a naysayer, but I mean,
For
the
your
ribbons
birthday,
aren't even
though?
going to fall.
This is personal.
No, this was for Jesus' birthday.
Maybe
so
they did.
only Jesus would get it if he was
Oh.
logged into Yahoo. It works for everybody, even
It's
Anuj.
just
Do you think
screenshots
Jesus
of
uses
it.
Y Connect?
Not anymore.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah, so this is a new thing. Google has like personalized
It's
stuff
dumb,
for
though.
you. Really? You don't like
You
it?
know, yeah, I mean, you saw the ribbon. It was
Maybe
like
it
just
looks-
like
maybe it looks
obfuscating
better in
some, like,
when it's
Yeah,
moving.
in full motion,
you know,
it probably looks
when it's actually
pretty awesome.
falling. You
Maybe.
feel like you're having your own little personal ticker tape parade.
I don't know.
And then everybody needs their own
I'm
personal
not
ticker
buying
tape parade.
it.
Let's admit.
Your own personal.
This all just seems very automated. I don't think anybody at Google cares that it was my birthday.
Also, a few people in the chat room are speculating that Stephen Fry may have gone to one of those sites that can spray paint your iPhone white.
Oh, there's that too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, if he was on stage, yeah, and it was kind of, ooh, the lights. and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
the first white iPhone ever.
Yeah. That'd be
It's
like him too.
That's probably more likely
Yeah, I think so.
than Stephen Fry out of everybody. Not that he doesn't deserve a white iPhone.
I don't know. Maybe Steve Jobs
We all
is a big
do.
Stephen Fry fan. He's like, I loved Blackadder. Here, white iPhone for you.
But do the whites match?
Or do you get a white bumper to go with? I mean, that's what we really want to know.
Oh, by the way, I
I've
have
got
to
a white
send you
bumper, and it's awful.
Yeah?
Yeah, it turns gray really quickly.
All right, folks. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Darren Kitchen, of course, Hack 5 host.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for sending well wishes in the last week since the motorcycle accident. I'm okay, and thank you everybody that wrote in. Also want to let you know, if you want to find out about DNS brute forcing, I did a nearly hour-long episode on lots of prescription pain medications. So go and check that out over HAK5.org. Find out about zone transfers and brute forcing. It's good stuff.
Brute forcing. That's what the kids are calling it these days. All right. Twit.tv/TNT is our website. You can call us 260-TNT show or give us an email. The email address is TNT. Then use the @sign and then TWIT.TV. You just place that in your mail client and
It's
press
magic.
send. You should probably write something too. We'll talk to you next week. next time. Tomorrow. When do I work? Who am I?
No, really, who are you?
I have no idea.
I'm looking up the MX record now.
Get this guy out of here.
Next week? I only want to do this show once a week now. I'm done.